Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Agajanana Padmarkam Gajananam Aharnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe. Welcome to all for this session on Ganesha Purana to chapter 77. In the previous chapter, we have seen that King Shurasena had decided to perform the Sankashta Chaturthi Vrata, and as per the guidance of sage Vasista, he chose Maghamasa Krishna Paksha Chaturthi as a day for celebration, and on that day, with a great devotion, along with his people, he celebrated Ganesha Sankashtahara Chaturdashi Vrata. Shamsi. Sorry. Sankashtahara Chaturthi Vrata. And on performing that Sankashta Chaturthi Vrata, Ganesha was pleased and he sent his aerial vehicle and commanded his people to bring King Shurasena to the Ganesha Loka. But then the compassionate king was interested in taking all his subjects along with him to the Ganesha Loka. And then among all his subjects, that evil leper was also there. And but the passionate king was interested in taking him to the Ganesha Loka. And then he asked the remedy to ward off his evil so that he could also be taken to the Ganesha Loka. Then the messenger started telling the story from the past life, previous life of that leper. Long ago, in the city of Gouda, which was in the region of Gouda, there was a priest who had a son, the mother of whom was Shakini, and whose wife was called Savitri. In her loyalty to her husband, that wife of this person, she was a veritable Savitri. Affectionately, they adorned their only son with ornaments and exceedingly handsome. He looked as splendid as Kama. His mother and father never wanted to be separated from him even for an instant. But when he attained manhood and had left his own wife, he was always involved with the wives of other men, and he was obsessed with maliciously criticizing other men. He became very evil and hostile towards his father's commands. At the same time, in that city, there was a prostitute called Nara, Naravimohini, and she came to him with her mind set on him. Listen to what she said. She had deliberately taken her own jewels out of a small basket and placed them near his mother and father. Afterwards, repeatedly crying out, thievery, that means thieves, thieves. After he had restored them to the prostitute, he had heavy sex with her. He was involved in all kind of the act of love. When giving up all sense objects, including wealth and fragrant perfumes, he became a yogin of the kind that is intent upon Brahma, and he established himself in that alone. Means like the way yogis involved in search of Brahma, and in that way he was searching for the worldly interests and worldly affairs. But disturbed by Kama's fire, he became intoxicated just as if he were under the influence of alcohol all the time. However, his exhausted father, disregarding the hunger and thirst, looked for his son in every house of the city because of the love towards their son. The father and mother, they were searching for him in every house in that city. His breath laboring because he could not find him. At midnight, he asked his wife, where has my son Buddha had gone? Buddha was the name of that leper in the previous life. Like someone in the night who is without lamp, my home is worthless without our son. Pool is worthless without water, so too is a woman without a child. Any sight of him will be a lifesaver. For that, his mother told, I stand here filled with grief and anxiety, wearied by hunger and thirst, not knowing where my beloved son has gone. I will live if I see him, but not otherwise. That means I'll going to die if I'm not able to see my son. Such was the love of the parents towards their evil son. Once again, taking his staff in his fist, Durva, the father, left and looked out for his son on the road and asked after him. When he was fatigued and assailed by hunger, he became confused, and then concerning his son, he questioned a very old, fearful Shudra named Bhima, and Bhima said what was quite evident, that Shudra was replying back to his words. Your son Buddha is in a brothel. Sensuous, he is happily having sex there. It does not matter who his mother or father or son is. You have tried for nothing, O Brahmin. Here, the person who is searching for his son because of his love for the son is a Brahmin. He should be knowing that there is no father, mother, or son, especially when that son is found to be evil. He should have immediately abandoned him, but instead, he was searching for his son out of his love for his son, worldly love for his son. But then there was a Shudra whom he met on the way. He was having that knowledge, and he told who is son, who is father, who is mother. Your son is lying in a brothel and is worthy only to be abandoned. Then the father said, how could my son Buddha become so attached to a prostitute? Because we have offered him so much of love. And he also has a wife named Savitri. He then went quickly to her house where he saw his crazed son, his eyes reddened by intoxication, agitated with lust, and he said, you are like the dark stain on the moon. How could you have born in my family? A stone or a thorn tree is considered to be better than you. Why don't you die, O mischievous man? What can there be in life for you? Father was very angry and he scolded his son on seeing him in that brothel filled with the lust. Having given ear to his father's speech, the son Buddha was filled with anger and he slapped his father on the snout with his palm and he said, your face is like that of worm or an insect. Why have you stopped me when I am having sex, O vile man? And why has crow's dung suddenly fallen on me? With another slap of his palm, he took away his breath. So the father died on the spot. When his father had given up the ghost, his son said, Vishnu, Shiva, and rejoiced. Then, after striking him on the feet, he threw him far away. After he had drunk some alcohol, he again had sex with a prostitute at his pleasure. In the morning, he went to his own house and saw his mother. She happily embraced her son, her breast oozing with affection, and she said, where have you been, my son? Where did you stay? For the whole night, what did you do? Tell me in detail, my child. Your father has suffered exceedingly, and I too am without food and water, and at night I lie awake in expectancy. I was expecting you, and for that reason, O son, your father has been gone for a long time looking out for you. She was not knowing anything about what happened to that person. Again and again she said, please go and find your father. Ordered by her in this way, her son angrily struck her with a dry stick and she fell on her head on the ground. So he beaten up his mother too. Realizing that she was senseless, and after striking her on the feet, he threw her outside his home. And after he had taken himself to the prostitute's house, he had sex, utterly ecstatic. So, in this way, in his previous life, the intoxicated Buddha had killed both his father and mother, who were showering their affection on him, being their son. The good people, each with their own stick, burned these two husband and wife, but because of his Brahmin status, the king did not order the vile Brahmin to be punished. So some good people who had found the dead body of the father and the mother, they performed all the required samskaras. But then the Shastras say that Brahmin should not be punished to death. That rule was made in the Shastras mainly because the real true Brahmin is a one who studies the Vedas, who is knowledgeable, and he uses that knowledge for the benefit of the society as a master, as a guru for the entire society. In fact, the Shastras order that such a person under any circumstance should not be killed. He should not be punished. He should be taken care of. But if that person is an evil brothel goer, one who lie among the prostitutes, drink the alcohol, and kill his parents, there is nothing wrong in punishing him. But then the king was blindly going behind the Shastra without understanding the essence of what exactly they are telling in the Shastras. But when he returned home, his wife had a quiet word with him. Savitri, the wife of Buddha, she told him, "O wise Lord of life, listen exactly to what I am going to say. The conduct of those like you who are born in that most famous and pure class should be good. You are born as a Brahmin. Your conduct is something that should be replicatable for the rest of the society. Evil conduct is quite another thing and should with discrimination be avoided. One's duty in this world is that by which one will be happy in the other world. Means once the person die and go to either the heaven or the hell, one would like to remain happy there. And if he need to go to heaven, one should do good conduct and not the evil conduct. So she is preaching him about what is being told in the Shastras. One's duty in youth is that by which one will be happy in the old age. So what you do in your younger days will inspire, will going to influence your life, how you will going to live during your old age. In the eighth month, one should act so that there will be happiness during the rains, and one should undertake action during the day so that one will sleep easily at night. It is not just about doing something good during the younger days with an expectation that it will bring good thing to the at the end when we have become old. In fact, what is required is what you do in the morning during a day should be such that you need to have a sound sleep during the night. If what you do during the day will bring sound sleep during the night, that is an indication that what you do during your younger days will bring a sound life for you, a happy life for you during your old age. And that itself is an indication that what you do in this world will bring good results for you in the other world. The king has forgiven you because you are a Brahmin and because of his affection for your father. I am perfect in every limb, a beautiful companion, your lawful wife. How could you have left me for having sex with a prostitute? Everyone would revile you, but no one will speak to you because they are afraid of you. My own kinsman says to me, "O lovely lady, what's your husband worth?" And then, my head down in shame, I long to give up the ghost here and now. But, oh husband, if you are willing to make love with me day and night, nobody would say anything about you, nor would there be any large transgression if at your own discretion you make good of my advice by abandoning that lady. A wise man should cease activity done by mistake or through ignorance. I do something if it is considered suitable, but I will certainly not do something if it is unsuitable. One should not act simply on the basis of a firm resolve. The man who acts wrongly gains neither in this world nor in the next world. Buddha has pierced to the vitals by the barbs of that woman and filled with anger. Who would like to hear the words that won't be pleasing for them? Because he is already so involved and so immersed in the lust as well the alcohol. He was so intoxicated. He was not ready to hear any good words from his wife. And with the by the bobs that woman and filled with anger, terribly cruel and almost smoldering, he spoke to her. Towards me you are shameless, cruel, arrogant, wicked, and angry. You will clearly attain the fate my parents have attained. So he told her, I will now going to kill you like I killed my own parents. Then Savitri told him, since there is no difference between parents and teachers, how will a person who should protect their independence protect me in this adversity? One who cannot protect his parents, one who cannot protect his teachers, what is the guarantee that you will going to protect me in this life? So, for a good woman, the better prosperity is to have a death like this in the hands of her own husband, so that in the next world she will going to have a better life rather than living in this world with an evil husband. After his wife had spoken in this way, he impetuously seized her and struck her with sticks, clods of earth, his fish, and stones. Then, through her previous marriage, she recollected Rama in the form of her husband, but suddenly pierced in the vitals by him, she gave up her divine. He gave up her worldly body and went into a divine body. She went to heaven where she enjoyed the highest happiness. Means she too died, leaving her worldly body, which was being stuck and cruelly treated by her own husband because she preferred death so that she can go to the heaven where she can have the highest happiness. But in the night, after dragging her body away by the feet, he threw her far away and unchecked. He rapturously made love with a prostitute, and to her Buddha said, they have all been killed because of you. After much time had passed, he then went to Kalabhi's house. When he had gone to bath, the depraved man seized his wife by the hair. She was extraordinarily beautiful, and he embraced and kissed her. And bringing her onto the bed, he fearlessly squeezed the mound of her breast and made love with her at will, while she cursed him constantly. In fact, after this incident has happened, he went once to his teacher's home. Talabhi was his teacher. So he went to his home and there he saw his wife. And this lustful person, he even raped her and he had dishonored her modesty. And then she cursed him instantaneously. She said, how could my parents have given me this offensive name Sulabha? Because her name was Sulabha. Wow, certainly been easy for you to get, O vile man, corrupt in mind. My husband Kalabi, a bull among the sages, having gone to Baal, you, a depraved man, used force against me, because the very name Sulabha indicate that it is easy to get her. So, in that way, she was cursing him, saying that when my great husband had gone out for the bath, you attacked me. And then she cursed him, saying that you will become leprous in a future life and nobody will even mention your name. Then the frightened Buddha returned to the prostitute's house where he made love with her. After he had drunk wine through, nothing worried him. How can I describe such action as this? His merit will end and he will bring his great offense to life. Then he died. Then that person, this was told by Brahma while telling the story. Then he died. Then that person, Buddha, died, and messengers took him to the Yama's abode. And Yama said, why was he brought here when he should have been taken to the hell? Because there is nothing to decide in the case of that person who is a drunkard and spend all his life with the prostitutes. So he should be immediately taken to the hell. After they had given ear to Yama's speech, the messengers then led him away and threw him into the hell, which he experienced until the drowning of creatures. Having suffered this experience, he then attained birth in a Vaishya's house, and in consequence of the curse of the Brahmin's wife, the wife of Kalabhi, named Sulabha, she cursed him to become a leper. So, because of that curse and because of his deed of killing his own parents and killing his own wife, who need to be guarded and protected by him, he became extremely leprous. He was a patricide, a matricide. He killed his father, he killed his mother, he killed his own wife, a drunkard and a violator of his teacher's bed. He even spoiled the wife of his own teacher. Just from touching him, a person must wash his clothes. He was such a person who should not even be seen nor be even touched. Just from touching him, a person must wash his own clothes. Moreover, since he has committed a great offense, one should not even mention his name. But if this man who is so evil were to leave here, this flying vehicle would go aloft. There is no doubt of it. So they are the messengers of the God. They are telling him, since he is such a worst person, an evil person, he should be thrown out of this vehicle. Only then this flying vehicle will be able to reach high to the heaven. Thus ends the 77th chapter of Upasana Khanda of the glorious Ganesha Purana, in which we have seen that the king was interested to know how, with compassion, he could take that leprous person also along with him to the Ganesha Loka. Then the messengers of Ganesha started telling him the past life of that leprous person. He was named Buddha in his past life, and he was as beautiful like Kama, and then he was very much loved by his parents. But then he got into the bad ways and became a drunkard and was spending life with the prostitute. And when his father questioned him, he killed his own father and later killed his own mother, who questioned his activities. But then his wife Savitri, who tried to bring him to the right path, and all her words fall on his deaf ears, and he even went on beating and killing her, and then spent all his life in that prostitute's house. And then one day he went to his teacher's home, the sage Kalabhi, and in there his teacher went out for the bath, and finding an opportune time, he even spoiled the modesty of his wife, and she, Sulaba, the wife of sage Kalabhi, he cursed him to become a leprous person. Since this person is such an evil person, even touching him require one to wash his body, wash his clothes, and even mentioning his name also will bring the bad evil to the one who mention his name. Namaste Sharada Devi Kashmira Puravasini Twamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidya Danancha Dehime. Goodbye.